The sun hung low in the sky, casting an ominous glow over the clearing where the small cult had gathered. Sarah stood among them, her heart pounding in her chest as she watched their leader, the enigmatic Father Ezekiel, preach fervently about salvation and eternal life. Despite the flickering doubts in her mind, Sarah raised her glass to her lips, her hand trembling as she sipped the elixir. The world seemed to blur around her for a moment, and she felt a surge of euphoria wash over her. But as she lowered her glass, she noticed something was terribly wrong. The other members of the cult began to convulse and writhe in agony, their faces contorted in pain as they succumbed to the elixir's effects. Panic surged through Sarah's veins as she watched in horror, her mind reeling with disbelief at the nightmare unfolding before her. Father Ezekiel's laughter echoed through the clearing, his eyes gleaming with madness as he urged his followers to drink more. Sarah stumbled backward, her breaths coming in ragged gasps as she fought to make sense of the chaos engulfing her. With a sudden burst of clarity, Sarah turned and fled into the surrounding forest, her footsteps echoing through the darkness as she raced to escape the horrors that pursued her. But no matter how far she ran, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, that something sinister lurked just beyond the trees. Hours passed as Sarah stumbled through the woods, her mind consumed by fear and desperation. She had no idea where she was going, only that she needed to get as far away from Father Ezekiel and his cult as possible. But with every step she took, the forest seemed to grow darker and more menacing, its twisted branches reaching out to trap her. Just when Sarah thought she couldn't go on any longer, she stumbled upon a small cabin nestled among the trees. With a glimmer of hope, she pounded on the door, praying for refuge from the terrors that pursued her. To her relief, the door swung open, revealing a kindly older man who took one look at her trembling form and ushered her inside. As Sarah collapsed onto the floor, the old man tended to her wounds, offering her food and water to help revive her. As she lay there, shaking and disoriented, Sarah recounted the horrors she had witnessed at the hands of Father Ezekiel and his cult. The old man listened gravely to her tale, his expression somber as he shook his head in disbelief. "I've heard stories of Father Ezekiel and his cult," he said, his voice heavy with sorrow. "They're a dangerous lot, preying on the vulnerable and the lost." Sarah shuddered at the realization of just how close she had come to becoming one of Father Ezekiel's victims. She profusely thanked the old man for his kindness, knowing she owed him her life. But as the old man led her to a makeshift bed, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that she was still in danger, that Father Ezekiel and his followers were still out there, hunting her down. As she drifted off to sleep, her mind plagued by nightmares of the cult's twisted rituals, Sarah vowed to never let her guard down again. Little did she know that the horrors she had witnessed were only the beginning of a nightmare from which she might never awaken.